wild. They're already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6.
This is almost unbelievable. We're talking WNBA playoff tickets, the postseason, the ultimate stage, the moment every league builds toward, and yet you can get in for just $6. Yeah, you heard that right, $6. Not a typo, not a special promotion. That's less than a burrito with extra guac, less than your daily Starbucks run, even less than what you'd pay just to park outside the arena. For the cost of pocket change, you can walk straight into a WNBA playoff game, the very platform that's supposed to showcase the absolute best of women's basketball. And here's the jaw dropper. These aren't just high up nosebleed spots. We're talking lower bowl playoff seats for the same price you'd spend at a drive-thru.
WNBA is in a panic right now. The WNBA higher-ups are panicking. They don't know what's gonna happen. I already let y'all know. I showed y'all the numbers that they was concerned about the playoff ratings and what they will be for the networks. They're concerned about it already. No Caitlin here to carry everybody. They don't know how these numbers are going to look. Tickets are they're already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets.
But here's the real story. Caitlin Clark isn't playing. No dazzling logo threes, no jaw-dropping passes worthy of every highlight reel. Instead, she's in warm-ups, sitting on the bench. And in that moment, the entire basketball world, especially the WNBA, feels completely turned on its head. So the question is, who's responsible for this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlin Clark has been injured, so she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%.
Yikes.
Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark.
This isn't just about cheap tickets. It's a warning sign, a lesson about value, mismanagement, and just how shaky this league becomes without the one player who brought it back into the spotlight. When Caitlin Clark was on the floor, the Indiana Fever were a money machine. Her games weren't simply matchups, they were spectacles. Fans hopped on planes, crossed state lines just to see her live. On the resale market, seats were going for over $1,000 just to be inside the arena. Courtside, try $4 or $5 grand. She transformed Indiana into the epicenter of basketball, outshining even the Pacers in their own city. On the road, she sold out arenas that had never seen that level of demand. And now, those same tickets are basically pocket change. You could dig through the spare coins in your car and walk into a playoff game. 2 tickets plus a hot dog still costs less than what fans once paid for parking. A franchise that once had people emptying their wallets just for a glimpse of Clark is now practically pleading with fans to show up.
It's understandable in this era to figure that tickets for playoff games are more expensive than the regular season, but Fever tickets for Tuesday night remain very affordable. $12, $13. I don't know what they're going to lie about as far as attendance goes. We're going to get into that momentarily. There are tons of tickets, hundreds of tickets available, if not thousands of tickets still available for tonight's game at a cheap price of a hoagie sandwich and a bag of chips from Wnba.
And the drop-off isn't quiet, it's dramatic. This is the playoffs, the stage that's supposed to have fans scrambling for tickets. Yet courtside seats are sitting at just $200, $200. That's what you'd expect to shell out for a high school state final, not the pinnacle of the WNBA season. The contrast is almost laughable. One moment, Indiana was the hottest ticket in all of basketball. The next, they're struggling to move seats like they're free giveaways.
WNBA is in a frenzy right now. The cash cow is not available to play. The golden goose is not available right now. That is Caitlin Clark. So now everyone has to get their numbers on their own. We saw Caitlin Clark bring in a whopping 1.8 million viewers for her first playoff game versus the Connecticut Sun last season. That was more than all of the other playoff games that was played that day combined. More than all of the other playoff games played that day combined.
This right here is the Caitlin-Clark effect, living proof of how one athlete can completely shift the course of an entire sport. When Clark was on the floor, Fever home games were pulling in over 17,000 fans a night, shattering records at every turn. That's not just impressive, it's transformational. For perspective, she was outdrawing multiple NBA teams in attendance. Opponents were scrambling to upgrade their arenas just to meet the demand. The Washington Mystics left their 4,200 seat gym for a 14,000 seat NBA arena. The Chicago Sky abandoned their 10,400 seat home to host Clark's Fever in the United Center, where more than 20,000 fans packed the building. Think about that, an entire league reshaping schedules, shifting venues, and raking in revenue, all sparked by the presence of a single player.
Last year, the cheapest ticket available to see the Indiana Fever at the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2024 WNBA playoffs, $133. Let's just say it's not near that expensive this year. It's not. So right there, Indiana Fever just had Caitlin-Clark cut a WWE promo.
Then came the blow no one wanted to hear. On September 4th, Caitlin-Clark announced she'd miss the rest of the season with a groin injury, and instantly, the buzz was gone. It felt like someone hit the switch and turned out the lights on the Fever's year. Their playoff game on September 16th, the franchise's first home postseason appearance since 2016, should have been a night of celebration, a milestone moment. Instead, it became a harsh reminder of just how much this team leans on a single player.
You can get courtside seats for $200. It is $200 to go sit courtside. Second row courtside behind the basket is $200. 1 to 3 tickets. It is $200 to sit courtside this game. This is in fact the cheapest. It is cheaper to go to this Fever game. This is the cheapest it's been to get into the Fever all year. Why? Why is it the cheapest?
The same fans who once lined up outside arenas just to catch Clark's pregame warm-ups are now scrolling past $6 playoff tickets like they're junk mail. What should have been a charged, sold-out atmosphere has turned into a half-empty arena filled with echoes of what could have been. The message couldn't be clearer. Without Caitlin-Clark, the magic disappears. And it's not just the box office that takes the hit. Her absence ripples through every part of the WNBA TV ratings, merchandise, national media buzz. All of it drops off a cliff without her. When Clark missed 5 games earlier this year, the numbers didn't just slip, they collapsed. The league lost over half its audience overnight. Games that usually drew more than 1 million viewers suddenly struggled to reach 350,000. That's not a dip, that's a free fall.
The last time the Indiana Fever posted a video of Caitlin-Clark talking was almost a month ago, but they know who they need to post when it's time to sell tickets. Damn! Putting CC front and center only when it's time to sell tickets. Oh boy. Oh boy. And we're talking about the tickets, folks. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm just a lonely messenger. That's it. Look at these ticket prices. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Look at these ticket prices. $13, $12, $55 for section 100. $27, $147 for section 5, $55 for section 19, $330 for courtside seats.
Even the All-Star Game, the league's crown jewel of the summer, wasn't immune. Caitlin-Clark was supposed to be front and center, captaining a team, headlining the weekend, and turning it into a must-watch event. Instead, sidelined by injury, she never suited up, and ratings plunged 36%. It's like showing up to a concert expecting Beyonce, only to find out she's not performing. Sure, the openers might be talented, but let's be honest, you're not sticking around. That's the WNBA without Caitlin-Clark. And here's the harsh reality for Indiana. Their entire identity is built around her. The offense flows through her. The marketing revolves around her. She's the reason ESPN puts Fever games in prime time. Without Clark, the team is left trying to sell fans on Kelsey Mitchell's scoring, Aaliyah Boston's dominance inside, or Lexi Hull's hustle. All incredible players, worthy of recognition, but the market has already spoken loudly, and it's speaking in the form of $6 tickets and empty seats. seats.
Don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
This isn't just Indiana's issue, it's a league-wide crisis. For years, the WNBA has been chasing mainstream attention. They've tried rebrands, fresh slogans, endless "the future is now" campaigns. None of it stuck, not until Caitlin arrived. She was lightning in a bottle, their golden opportunity to finally break through. But instead of shielding her, instead of treating her like the cornerstone she was, they left her exposed. Cheap shots, overly physical play, questionable officiating, and eventually her body gave out. Now the consequences are on full display. What should have been the league's crown jewel, the postseason, has turned into a mess. Ticket prices in freefall, TV ratings ready to collapse. A league that had momentum is suddenly staring into the abyss. And the worst part? It didn't have to be this way. Clark's absence isn't just bad luck, it's the direct result of negligence. The WNBA had its golden goose, and they treated her like just another player. The cost of that mistake? You can see it plastered across ticket sites. $6 playoff seats.
Teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are some teams, the league is afraid that there are some teams' games where you could get into the playoff game for $6. That is how low some of these ratings might be and how low some of these ticket prices might be.
Let's take a step back, because this whole situation exposes a truth the WNBA has never wanted to admit. They need Caitlin Clark more than they've ever needed any player before. This isn't just like LeBron leaving Cleveland and the Cavs slipping into irrelevance. No, this is far more alarming. This is realizing your entire business model, your momentum, and your identity as a league all rest on the shoulders of a 23-year-old point guard who was left unprotected until her body finally gave out. The numbers make it undeniable. In 2024, the WNBA saw growth it had never touched before, and nearly all of it was tied directly to Clark. Attendance skyrocketed 48% year over year. A record 54 games sold out. The average crowd jumped from 6,615 in 2023 to over 9,000 in 2024. For a league that had struggled for decades to build steady audiences, this wasn't just progress, it was a miracle. The same pattern played out on TV. Every network airing her games shattered ratings records. Clark wasn't simply a star athlete, she became the gravitational pull dragging women's basketball into the mainstream spotlight.
But Caitlin Clark was first. You know what would have also put asses in seats? Indiana Fever clearing Caitlin Clark to play the game of basketball. That would have done it. I promise you. I promise you that would have done it. Again, I believe we deserve to know who ordered the code red. It's a lot different if it is Caitlin Clark and her people believe that, and her medical team believe that she could not play. If it was Stephanie White in the Indiana Fever, I believe that changes everything, as far as I'm concerned.
Here's the problem. When an entire league's growth hinges on one player, what happens when that player can't suit up? The answer is staring us in the face. Empty seats and $6 playoff tickets. All that record-breaking momentum came with a hidden cost. Fragility. The WNBA built its house on a single pillar, and the moment that pillar cracked, the whole foundation started to shake. And the timing couldn't have been worse. This was supposed to be the league's victory lap, an expansion era with new franchises on the horizon, an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal looming in 2026, and negotiations for higher player salaries already underway. Corporate sponsors were circling. For the first time, the WNBA looked like it could finally push its way into the same cultural spotlight as other pro leagues. Then disaster hit. Their brightest star, the one responsible for nearly 27% of the league's entire economic engine, was sidelined right before the playoffs. It's like a restaurant finally earning its first Michelin star, the reservation book packed, only for the head chef to call out sick on opening night. That's the kind of gut punch the WNBA just took.
$9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year. this is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout because I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, if it was 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is to sit at home. Probably more expensive than it would cost to go to to pay for one game on Fever Direct, I'd say, if that's a thing.
And the fans, the very people who fueled all that growth, made their stance crystal clear. These weren't casual spectators, they were diehards. They flew in from across the country to Indiana. They bought jerseys by the armful. They scheduled entire summers around Caitlin Clark's games. But once she was officially ruled out of the postseason, their wallets did the talking. Courtside for $200? No thanks. General admission for $6? Maybe, if nothing else is happening that night. In one instant, the foundation of the WNBA's so-called golden era was exposed. The demand wasn't being driven by the league itself, it was Clark. And that's not a slight to her teammates. Kelsey Mitchell's scoring deserves credit. Aaliyah Boston's dominance inside deserves recognition. But the market doesn't care about fairness. Fans don't rally around the idea of balance. They rally around greatness. And for the past 2 years, Caitlin Clark has embodied greatness in women's basketball. Her absence didn't just leave a void on the court, it revealed how fragile the league's wider appeal really is without her.
So, like a lot of people, I started following the WNBA, and I'm sorry, I hate to sound cliche, but it is because of Caitlin Clark. I flew my family to Indy to catch the game opener, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. We fell in love with the city. We, of course, also fell in love with the Pacers, and we followed every game.
For Indiana, the reality cuts even deeper. This franchise didn't just add Caitlin Clark to the mix, they redefined themselves around her. Drafted first overall, handed the keys to the offense, every piece of their system molded to fit her game. Clark wasn't one part of the plan, she was the plan. And yet, they let her battle through injuries all season long. She absorbed relentless hard fouls, cheap off-ball shots, and referees who seemed more interested in swallowing the whistle than protecting their star. Every time she sat out, the message was obvious. Attendance dipped, ratings plummeted, that should have been the alarm bell. Instead, they kept pushing her forward. Now the price of that short-sighted gamble is on full display. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The WNBA's surge in popularity, as shiny as it looks in headlines, is far more fragile than anyone wants to admit. If the absence of one player sparks a collapse, 55% drops in TV ratings, a 36% slide in all-star numbers, playoff tickets selling for $6. That's not growth, that's a warning sign. It's unstable, it's fleeting, and it leaves the league exposed in ways no PR spin can disguise.
It's a superstar from top to bottom. You never seen a woman shoot the ball like that or pass the ball like that. It has that fire. You downplay it, you diminish it, you try to kill it. You almost killed it, but thank God Caitlin Clark is a strong human being. But the fact that they're trying to replace her with someone subpar talent, subpar entertainment value is ridiculous, and try to give credit to those who don't really deserve credit and try to have players to be the face who aren't really the face. The one thing about the face of the league, it's not chosen by the league, it's chosen by the...
Those empty seats say everything. They reveal that the WNBA doesn't have enough star power to keep the momentum alive. They prove that the league needs Caitlin Clark far more than Caitlin Clark needs the league. Without her, playoff basketball in Indiana isn't a spectacle, it's background noise. Fans show up for greatness, and right now, in the eyes of the broader audience, only one player carries that label. For the past 2 years, Clark has been the spark that made the WNBA feel like it belonged among the major sports. Take her out of the equation, and what's left? A product that suddenly feels flat. Those $6 playoff tickets aren't just bargains, they're a warning sign. They scream that the league placed its entire future on one player without building a safety net. The question isn't whether this collapse is shocking, it is. The real question is whether the WNBA and the Fever will finally learn. Will they start treating Clark like the generational superstar she truly is? Not just on posters and highlight reels, but with real protection on the floor and long-term care for her body? Or will they keep running her into the ground, gambling that she'll hold up while risking the league's entire foundation if she doesn't. Because right now, those rows of empty seats inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse are already telling the story, and unless the league changes course, those seats will be remembered as the defining image of what could have been the WNBA's golden era. Who do you think deserves the blame for this situation? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on your screen and we'll see you next time.